Pokemon Unite held items tier list. Hello trainers, so I'm doing today something little different. I'm having my first guest on the second channel, Assassin Dave. Hello dude, how are you doing today?
Alright guys, thank you for having me, Hepo. Really excited to be here, and today I know we're gonna have a lot of stuff to discuss, so make sure you like, subscribe, and turn the bell on, because a lot of notes, really important stuff.
Yeah, awesome. So we got some held items here, and without further ado, let's get started. I have these on the alphabetical order. So first we got Aeos Cookie. So when you score a goal, your maximum HP is raised for the rest of the match. It gives some base HP and the bonus caps at 6 stacks. To be honest with you, I never seen anyone use Aeos Cookie. It might be delicious, but as a held item, I just don't see the value. I would argue that I would put it on C. What do you think?
I think it's the same. There are a lot of items in the game that actually just doesn't have that much value at all or utility. Like, for example, Aeos Cookie, just like you said, it looks delicious. I would love to eat it, but use it? Not so much.
Yeah. Let's go with C. Next we have Assault Vest. Gain a shield against special attack damage while out of combat, 8 seconds after leaving combat, and it also gives you a base stats of some HP and special defense. This is a tricky dicky one. Again, I haven't seen many people use this. On paper, I do think it's an okay item, but the problem is that there are just better options in the game. So I would argue to say that maybe low B tier, even high C tier. What do you think?
It's interesting. It's definitely better than Aeos Cookie. Similar to the Aeos Cookie, I've never seen anyone use it. This item, it does make sense, but at the same time, what we need is developer to come out and really explain what special attack and attack means. Because what we generally understand is the attack is basically your auto attack, your normal auto attack, and then the special attacks are basically your skills. But in a lot of cases, from what we know from all testing, that's actually not the case. So when you say that just nullify 9% of the special attack damage, like what does it mean? Does it mean like nullify skill damage? Or does it mean nullify some of the damage even from the auto attack? Because we know some Pokemon, even some skill with special attack and normal attack. So like what does it actually nullify, right? That stuff we need to figure out exactly. And then that really need developer to come out and say something about it. So right now, I think this item is in the confusion phase, but definitely think it's still better than Aeos Cookie.
Okay. Would you go low, just above Aeos Cookie, or low B tier?
I'll say high C.
Okay, let's put it on high C. Moving on, next we have attack weight. When you score a goal, your attack is raised for the rest of the match. This bonus caps at 6 stacks and also gives you a base value of 18 attack. It's another item I haven't really seen people use. I saw a video that a Lucario player was using it alongside with the score shield, so it could work nicely alongside the score shield, but other than that, I feel it's just way too situational as a held item. So maybe B tier, low A tier, way too situational. I think I had to go with B. What do you think?
I think this item is okay. Like, it's not super bad. This item is on the same thing as special attack spec, but instead of giving you special attack, this item give you attack, which is interesting, because if you think about, like, it doesn't specify how much you need to score in order to gain this attribute. So you can literally get like just 2 points, right? And then just run to their score zone, score to gain that 6, and then go kill a small wild Pokemon, get another 2 points, and come here and then score again to get that 6. Yeah, but if you think about it, if it doesn't actually have a limit, you just don't get any points. You get 2 points, you go score, you get 2 points, you go to score.
Yeah.
You can literally bam the extra attack. And if you combo this with something like score shield, like on any support heroes, on the defenders, you're not gonna have like anyone interrupting you. It's instant score. So you can almost get incredible amount of attack. And by the way, Snorlax attack, Snorlax damage, all his skills actually scales with his attack. So if you think about that, like that can be insane. So I actually don't know like this item, because again, it's really vague, the limitation of this item. And then we just need a developer to come out and say something. But right now, it's definitely better than a waste. I think I'll probably give it a B. Just my opinion though.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page here. Let's go with B. It's way too situational to be A or even S, but I don't think it's as bad as Aeos Cookie or Assault Vest.
Yeah.
So I think B is sufficient enough here. Okay, next we have one of the better items in my opinion, Body Barrier. Grants a shield to you and a nearby ally Pokemon with the lowest HP when using your Unite move with 5-second duration. It also gives you 40% of HP when you use the Unite move, and also to nearby ally. It also gives them 40% of HP. At level 20, it gives you 400 HP, and level 30, 600 HP. I think this item is super versatile. I think it can be used on any Pokemon, and with that reasoning, I think it's pure S tier.
100% agree. Body Barrier has been abused in any tier, any elo. If you're playing Fireman, doesn't matter what rank you are, you're probably just abusing this item right now.
Yeah.
The thing about Body Barrier's passive is stack. So you can have 5 people with Body Barrier, and then when they all use Unite together, the game just become a like who can shred each other's shield faster.
Yeah.
Or who has better synergy to combo the enemy before they even do anything.
Yeah.
That stuff. Like literally, there's nothing you can do when the enemy team just start abusing Body Barrier. Like when one Pokemon is 1 HP and you get him to 1 HP, the team start using Body Barrier, you're like, what just happened? Yeah. That's literally the feeling you have.
Okay, so you agree on the S tier?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let's S tier. So good, Body Barrier. And next we have Energy Amplifier. After using your Unite move, deals increased damage for a short time with a 4-second duration. I think when it's used on the right Pokemon, I would say it's best on Cramorant and Charizard. It's a very, very good item, but yet again, I think it's a bit too situational, so maybe A tier will be sufficient for Energy Amp. What do you think?
I think it's definitely better than attack weight and special attack specs. So it's definitely not in B tier. So I agree with you. A tier is probably better.
Yeah, let's go with A tier. Next, we have XP Share. Increases the Pokemon's passive XP point gain while it has the fewest XP points on its team. In addition, when a nearby teammate defeats a wild Pokemon, that teammate gains slightly more XP points. Also gives you base stats of 240 HP and 150 movement speed. Is that?
Yeah.
It's another more situational item. I think when you stacking 5-man pre-mates, and if you know you play support like Eldegoss, and you know that you're gonna be the Pokemon that's most behind in XP, it's gonna have a tremendous value. But in solo queue environment, I think it's gonna be more risky option. But when the criteria met for this item, and you use it on 5-man pre-mates, it can have a really good value. So with that said, I would go A tier. What do you think?
I agree. This is another 5-man. You're absolutely right on that. Nail on the coffin there. It's a 5-man item. Like in solo, you don't want to take this item because no one's gonna carry except for you. You're probably the only person who's gonna do anything in the game. You should not expect to have 4 teammates. It should be expect a 1 versus 9, or whatever you do, you should be thinking like, how do I 1 versus 9? With that being said, level is the only way to make you Pokemon strong in the game, because pre-game everybody has items and everything, but let's assume everyone has the same items. The only way for you to get ahead in the game is through faster leveling, which increase all your stats. So you don't want to do this when you're playing solo, but 5-man, absolutely yes.
Do you agree on the A tier?
Absolutely.
Do you think it's better or worse than the Energy Amp?
I think it's better.
Okay.
It's probably used more. Because if you think about it, the Energy Amp, the thing about this item, it's only viable after you have your Unite move, right? Like before your Unite move, this item is literally useless. You know, like you carry an item.
You have a point.
That's why this item, we don't use it, we don't see it that often, because it literally means before at least level 9, you're gonna be completely missing an item where everybody else has 3 items.
You have a point there, and now that you said it, I agree. I think it's better than, it has more usage than Energy Amp, so I think the high A tier is sufficient here.
Yeah.
Alright, next we have Floatstone, a held item I thought was one of the best until few facts came up on surface. Increases movement speed while out of combat with 8 seconds cooldown after leaving combat, and it gives you 20% movement speed after going out of combat, and also base stats of 24 attack and 120 movement speed. I like this item on paper, but the issue with this item is that you're not that much out of combat, so it cannot get the full potential that often. So that's why I think it's not as good as I thought it would be. It was one of the first items I powered up to level 20 and I kind of regret it now. But with that said, maybe high C tier, low B tier.
I actually, say, regarding this item, I actually disagree with your assessment. The reason about it is movement speed has always been the most fundamental attributes in all MOBAs. For Pokemon Unite, it's the same thing. Like, if you have extra movement speed, it's actually really, really good. And the reason why this item, that I will give it extra points, is because all the other attributes in Pokemon Unite, it's so obscure. It's so, like, not clear on exactly what they do. Like, for example, some item says it will increase a special attack by 5%. But when we actually calculate it in game or test it in game, it's not exactly just give you 5% damage. It might even give you only 5% of your base special attack stats, which then you have to take another scaling to calculate the total damage. That means like maybe overall you only get a 1% increase. But for Flowstone, it's a straight up movement speed, and there's zero confusion with movement speed. You know exactly what you're getting.
True.
Yeah, it's very, very clear. And the thing about it is that it does give you 20% when you're not in combat. That means if you're playing center Pokemon, you can roam around the entire map really, really easily with this. A lot faster. You can go to your position a lot faster. For a lot of Pokemon, Pokemon go to Zapdos, roam to Zapdos, roam to different side of the map a lot faster. So obviously, just the fact they straight up give you 120 movement speed is also really good. So like overall, like I even give this item like an A tier, to be honest, still above the Amplifier. And also I will give it above the Experience Share, to be honest, because this is a solo queue item that you can use. Whereas Experience Share, like we talked about, is more of a fireman item.
That's an interesting point. The only thing I dislike about it is that you're not as much out of combat. I know it excels with the jungle picks for sure, and the base movement speed value is great. I love mobility on different characters.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't necessarily think it's A tier. Could you compromise? Maybe let's put it on low A tier? Because I was thinking more of B tier.
Yeah, okay. So another note is, I mean, regarding item tier list, it's more of an individual preference because I don't build this item all the time, you know? It's especially if you don't play center position, this item is literally not going to be that much of a use for you, you know? So you might as well go with some other items like Focus Band and all that kind of stuff if you have the space, or just purely increase your stats so you can get more kills. So Flowstone is a situational item. If you put it like in that perspective, yeah, like I would put it low A or high B.
Let's go with low A tier. I think that's a fine compromise. It has its ups and it has its downs, but it's a tricky dicky one because of the basic passive, the out of combat movement speed. It takes so long to proc the 8 seconds after leaving combat. That's the most concerning part of this item for me. But okay, low A, that's fine. Next, we have Focus Band. When dropping to low HP, which is 50% HP by the way, recover HP lost each second for 3 seconds with a 90-second cooldown. It's gonna regenerate 14% of HP lost. It has also base stats of special defense plus 30 and regular defense plus 30. Akin to Body Barrier, I think this item is just so versatile on so many different Pokemon. And with that said, I don't think it's as good as Body Barrier, but very close, so I would argue and put it on the S tier.
Absolutely, I agree. This item is also a universal item. If you are a free-to-play player, like if you start playing Pokemon Unite and don't want to spend a penny, the only 2 items that I absolutely recommend you upgrade, no matter in what scenarios, is going to be Body Barriers and Focus Band.
Yes.
So they're on the equal importance. For Focus Band, more so than Body Barrier, because Focus Band, again, doesn't have the level limitation. It doesn't have the restriction where you have to have a Unite move.
True.
Where Body Barrier is like you have to have Unite move in order to get that shield. And a lot of Pokemon, when they throw a Unite, they leave right after. They don't even stay in the fight. So the Body Barrier doesn't really help them. Like for example, for Pokemon like Cinderace, after they use their Unite, they still stay in the fight and keep on fighting. In fact, that's when you're strongest. So Body Barrier becomes extremely strong. Whereas Focus Band is effective since the beginning. Like since your first rotation, doesn't matter where you are, the first fight, Focus Band is immediately effective. Just when enemy think that you're low and they're baiting in, they're coming, dive deep into your territory, boom, your Focus Band proc, you regenerate over 40% of your lost HP, and you turn the fight around. It's just that OP. So it's tier S.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, now that you said it, I think it's actually a bit more valuable than Body Barrier, because with Body Barrier, you don't get the values right out of the gate.
Yeah.
But with Focus Band, you do. So let's put it on the number 1 spot for now. The next one, I don't know if I want to talk about it. Leftovers. Recovers health over time while out of combat, 8 seconds after leaving combat. It gives you 2% of max HP per second, and also has a base stats of 240 HP and HP recovery of +9. On paper again, it's a fat okay, but I don't see anyone use Leftovers. This might be the worst item, or next to the delicious cookie. What do you think?
Same. Just by the look of it. It's a eaten up apple. Who want to use this? Like, who want to carry a freaking like decomposing apple in their pocket? It makes no sense. This is literally one of the worst, because in the game, you don't really need a regeneration. You can recover HP. People usually recover HP by going back to base or staying in their score zone to regenerate, or eating the berry. That's the most direct way for you to get regeneration. And the game is so fast paced where, like, if you think about it, it's 1.5 seconds. If you even max out level 20, your passive give you 2% of your max HP regeneration per second. That means if you want to get like 50%, 100% back, you need like what, 50 seconds? Close to a minute. You can do so much. The entire game is only 10 minutes. You know, to stay there and rely on this item to regenerate HP for a minute simply doesn't make any sense. If you're low, go back home and run to your lane. That will take shorter than relying on this item to regenerate HP.
Yeah. Do we want to put it at the bottom?
Yeah, the very bottom. Yeah, even Cookie's better. Cookie at least look better.
Yeah. you could even argue that and have our own tier for leftovers, because yeah, it doesn't even look appetizing, and the stats wise, like I said, it sounds okay on paper, but nah, bro, no, not good one, not good one.
Yeah, and also remember we talked about Cookie. When you score, you get like HP. The thing about that is it's the same thing to the attack weight. It doesn't, with the item itself doesn't really have a limitation on it. It doesn't say in description, you know. So yeah, like ideally you can just get as much HP as you want. So that like that's so much better than a freaking decomposing apple.
yeah. You're absolutely correct on that. Leftover, unfortunately, deserves the bottom spot in the list.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on, Muscle Band. Deal additional damage with basic attacks based on the target's remaining HP. It grants up to 3% of remaining HP and has a base stats of 15 attack and 7.5% attack speed. Again, I think Muscle Band is one of the more versatile items. You can even use it on Elder Gods and get value out of it. It's just such a good all-arounder item. I don't think it's as versatile as Body Barrier or Focus Band, but still like Muscle Band with the right characters like Greninja or Cinderace.
Yeah.
And like I said, even Elder Gods, S tier for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think it's definitely on the lower S, like behind Body Bear, because this item is not universal. It's really good when you're placing this item with someone who attack really fast or attack really frequently, like you mentioned, Greninja and Cinderace. But when you talk about like other Pokemons, they don't benefit directly. For example, you pair this item onto Machamp. He doesn't really rely on auto attack speed to do damage, right? He's more of a one-punch man. He goes in, he does his skill, he's done. Same as some other fighters, right? They go in, they do their skill set, they're done. So like, yes, Muscle Bear does offer you some kind of like benefits in attack and attack speed, but it just doesn't offer you that much. Like for those kind of Pokemons, you might benefit a lot more with Flowstone because it gives you a straight up attack, also give you movement speed so you can roam fast. So overall, I think I will give this item like a low S, but definitely behind Body Barrier.
Yeah, I can agree on that. It's not as universal as Body Barrier or Focus Band, but it's still a very solid item on those specific Pokemon, for sure. Next, we have Rocky Helmet. After absorbing enough damage, deal percent damage based on your max HP to nearby opponents with a 2-second cooldown and 10% HP damage trigger in a single attack. Oh, I haven't really used this item. Also gives 240 HP and 42 defense. It's another one of those items that I'm kind of confused about. I haven't seen anyone use this, and with my experience, I would say low B tier, high C tier.
I don't know, like I'm on the same thing. I have never seen anyone bought this item. I've never used this item myself. Like when you have Pokemons like, for example, Snorlax, nobody really hit them to begin with, you know? And right now the current meta is mainly Greninja and Cinderace. Maybe not so much of a Cinderace, but it's mainly Greninja. If you're looking for like Blastoise might be a like Pokemon this can do pretty well against, because Blastoise can come in your face and do a lot of damage. But if you look at it, this item still have a 2-second cooldown for some reason, you know? So that means like when Blastoise come at you, you might only trigger this effect one time, and that's not a lot of damage. It's only like 5% of total damage reflected back to his Blastoise. You could do so much more with other items.
Yeah, so where would you put it in the tier list?
Like high C. I don't know. I think high C will probably, but not so. Okay, let's see. Compare it to the Vest. Like, do you think this is better than the Vest? I think it might be even worse than the Vest, to be honest.
Let's put it between the Vest and the Delicious Cookie. Okay, I think that will be sufficient.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Moving on, we got Scope Lens. Deals additional damage equal to 75% of Pokemon's attack stat with a 1-second cooldown. It provides 75% of the attack stat and critical hit chance of 6% and critical hit damage at 12%. It's a really good item on specific Pokemon like Absol and Cinderace as well if you go to that Blaze Kick build. And maybe on Greninja? I haven't seen it on Greninja, but at least on Cinderace and Absol, it's a really good item. But due to the fact it's kind of situational, I won't put it on the S tier. I think it's more on the
high A
tier side of things.
Yeah,
high A.
Yes, same. Like the difference between this and a damage amplifier, which give you 21% damage overall increase when you use your Unite. That item again, it has a trigger threshold. You have to have Unite move first, where Scope Lenses doesn't have this. You can have the crit damage increase right off the bat. The thing you really have to think about is like how much crit damage are you gonna do. That's why you're absolutely right. It's only good for certain items. It's not very universal. I would say this is even less universal than Flowstone, but you cannot deny like it's good. So I don't know. I think I'll put on the same tier as the damage amplifier, but I don't know exactly which one is better. Is scope lens or the flowstone? You know, because flowstone is universal, where this item is so individual cases.
Yeah, it's another tricky dicky one. I would put it between energy amplifier and floatstone. Would you be sufficient with that?
Sure, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Okay, let's do it then. Next, let's talk about Score Shield. Shields you while you attempt to score a goal. Scoring cannot be interrupted while the shield remains active with a 6-second cooldown. It gives 10% of HP when you score and also a base HP of 450. Again, this is a good item, especially on tanks like Snorlax and Slowbro and Blastoise. It's super annoying early game, especially when you're depositing like low amounts of balls.
Yeah.
You can just get those points so easily, and I've been triggered by this on so many cases because of its potential, and that 6-second cooldown is kind of insane. I think, in my honest opinion, I think this should be nerfed, like maybe 10-15 second cooldown. Score Shield is just so good. It's not for every single Pokemon. It can work on every single Pokemon, but I don't think it excels with more attacker type Pokemon like Greninja or Cinderace. But overall, I think it's so good item. Somewhere in the S tier would be sufficient for Score Shield.
Yeah, like, okay, Score Shield is also a universal item. Anyone can build it, anyone can use it. It just depends on what kind of playstyle do you want to be. For the thing is, currently, like general playstyle, very popular playstyle I've seen is the Silent Lucario. They will usually take this, or even, I mean, Talonflame will still see more in the jungle, but sometimes the Silent Split Pusher, like the top laner, they will usually take this Score Shield, especially Lucario, because they get shield by themselves, and then they will also get another shield from Score Shield. And then what they do is they just, the entire game just focus on putting pressure on the opposite side of the map. If your team is fighting in the bottom, they will push top continuously. If one person defending against the Lucario, you simply can't with the Score Shield. You don't break the shield fast enough, and then he will just score over and over and over again. So if you pair that on a tank, Crustle or Snorlax, right? Crustle especially, you see people abusing it with Crustle. They just run it down with Score Shield and they score because they got so much shield. So if you don't break their shield, you can't stop them. You can't interrupt them. Your jump doesn't interrupt them. Nothing interrupt them. So this item overall is pretty universal, but I don't know about giving it as high A. Like, I would definitely be ahead of the experience share, but lower than Muscle Band, sure.
I think low S tier.
Low S tier, yeah, low S tier is fine. Yeah, this is
because some like you said, some Pokemon like Crustle can really abuse this item, and it can work on every Pokemon. But I don't think it's as good as Muscle Band. So let's go with low S tier. Shell Bell, another one of those items that I thought that it's super good and I powered it up and now I do regret it. Recover HP when successfully landing a move. The higher your special attack, the more HP recovered, and also has a base stats of special attack plus 24 and plus 4.5% cooldown reduction.
Yeah.
This is an okay item, it goes well with Wise classes, but the issue with Shell Bell is that there are just better items, better options to pick from.
Yeah.
On paper it doesn't sound bad, but it's more on the iffy side, maybe low B tier. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's definitely higher than the weight though. Probably like high B.
Okay.
You know, because it's still usable. It's just like you said, like, why would you use it? There's so many other options. If you want to recover HP in a team fight, like let's say if you're playing, when I was the same thing. I made the same mistake. I got Shell Bell because it sounded so good. And then, so I got it because I used to play Greninja. I was like, okay, if I keep on doing hack, I can just keep on regenerating HP. But it turned out the HP amount regenerated is so little. It's not even noticeable. Like, yeah, it's not. So it turned out to be a really crappy item. So like overall, I think this one's high B. It's still usable, but why would you do it? If you have the option to go with Focus Band.
Yeah, let's go with high B. I think that's a fine place to put it.
Yeah.
Next we have special attack specs. When you score a goal, your special attack is raised for the rest of the match. This bonus caps at 6 stacks. And it also has a special attack base value of plus 24. Again, these when you score, you do this or you do that items, they are okay, but again, they feel kind of situational.
Right.
It's a fat okay for me, maybe somewhere in the B tier. What do you think?
It's on the same tier as with the weight, you know, like it's literally the same thing. Attack weight, it has the same trigger condition, the amplification of the game, of the items still need to be tested, and most importantly, I think developers just need to come out and tell us more details, including their updates, right? Like on what's going on.
Yes.
So yeah, it's definitely a low B tier, just like attack weight.
Yeah, let's put it on the after attack weight. And last but definitely not least, we got Wise classes. Further increase special attack damage It gives you 7% special attack and also flat amount of special attack plus 39. It's a good all-rounder item for those mages like Venusaur, Cramorant, Gardevoir, Gengar, but it's not good on like tanks or like fully attackers. It's pretty okay item, I gotta say, but it's not a S tier per se, but maybe somewhere in the A tier in my opinion.
Yeah, but I do think this is a low A, like the last one of A. The problem with the special attack, pure special attack increase is, again, go back to earlier when we talked about how does it actually work, because currently the how special attack is very obscure. We don't know exactly what this refers to. Does it mean it just purely increase your, like a special attack, does it refer to the skill or does it refer to the attribute? You know, because if you look at all the Pokemon, a lot of Pokemon skill with special attack and attack at the same time, and the special attack within the skill description, that just means it's an attribute. So if you play any other MOBA, it's kind of like magic damage or physical damage. It's a two type of damage type. So
yes,
if it just refers to a damage type, it's actually not that big of a deal, especially for a lot of Pokemon that doesn't scale really well with special attack. For example, Blastoise, the #1 Pokemon in the entire game right now, the most meta Pokemon in the game. You probably think that he does only skill damage, right? He goes in with a super spin and he start doing like the water spraying, killing everybody. You're like, okay, this guy probably benefits a lot from Wise Glasses. But just the contrary, if you go read his skill description, all his skills doesn't really scale very well with special attack. So you might as well just go tankier item so he stays in the fight longer and it's, you know, keep on doing it over and over again. So yeah, the Wise Glasses, the specs seems pretty straightforward. It makes sense, but it's just right now we don't know exactly what this is referring to. It's really hard to test in Pokemon because there's so many variants. We need the developer just to come out and tell us exactly what this means. Does this mean increase your skill damage? It doesn't seem like that's the case. But if it's only increasing one attribute, it's actually not that much.
Yeah, you're correct. And I also can agree that it's somewhere on the low A tier. Do you think it's better or worse than the Floatstone?
I think it's definitely worse. Again, Floatstone is universal. Everyone can take it for movement speed, you know? Where this item is like, you only special attack and we don't even know what special attack means.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go with the low A tier. I think that's sufficient place to be. Okay, so that covers up the held items tier list. Let me know down in the comments what do you think about these decisions we came up with. Assassin Dave? And again, Dave, thank you so much for joining with me today. I think we're gonna have a part 2 on your channel, so make sure to check that out. I'm gonna also leave your information at the video description so people can come check you out on your Unite channel.
Yeah, it's really a fun experience to interact with Heppo. I think you guys are building an incredible community. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and remember the part 2, we're gonna do the Pokemon tier list. So also gonna be another fun video, so check that out as well.
Yeah, gonna have those links posted as well when we get the second part done. But yeah, thanks again, and whoever got this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. My name is Hepodix, and I hope you have a wonderful day.